Welcome to West of Tulsa. I'm CJ Ward, and we are broadcasting from Studio 3 in Ventura, California. And I'm going to start off, otherwise I'm going to get in trouble with Gabe if I don't start off with the tip line, right?
Yes.
Hopefully more people are making it to the end of one of our shows. But that's why we're doing it, because so few people make it to the end of our shows and they don't know we have a tip line. So we have one. Go to our website, westoftulsa.com, click on the tip line link, fill it out, join us in studio. We actually have people who've been contacting us, and they're going to be on the show.
We have
several people.
Yeah, we have
several people.
We have booked 3 guests through the tip line already.
One of them from Oregon.
Where's the? We had another one, SoCal. That was yesterday.
We just had somebody on from New Hampshire.
Yeah. So
we're going multi-state here.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a big thing.
Yeah.
All right. So as you can tell, everybody's here except for Beth again.
Boo.
She has a job where she gets paid. So she's
Somebody's got to make some money around here.
Exactly. Our guests, and I love it. Oh, I'm going to hurt somebody.
Very excited.
I'm going to hurt somebody.
It's a sign of things to come.
Melissa Way is here from CarmaCare.
Yes.
And we have a return.
Yes.
Christina Jimenez from Miss Motorhead is joining us again. So I have to ask first question again. I get in trouble with Gabe if I don't do this. But what did you guys drive to get here?
I drove a 2019 Subaru WRX.
Ooh, nice.
That's my daily.
Yeah. Christina?
I brought my wagon, my Subaru Legacy GT wagon.
Yeah.
We heard it roll up.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, look who's here.
Yeah.
So before we get going into what Melissa's up to, we have to ask, because on one of our previous shows, you brought up a topic that actually got a lot of traction on our socials.
According to Christina,
Yeah, so we have to ask about it. But the speed dating thing, you've come up with a whole new concept. We threw out some ideas too, but I think your ideas are probably better than ours. So.
Yeah, that was interesting, actually. I didn't expect that to happen. I know we were just talking about dating in general, but I think there was a show / speed dating thing in San Diego somewhere, and somebody messaged me and they were like, hey, you need to do something like that out here. And then a few people then just started kind of messaging me, and they're like, okay, so what's going on with the dating thing? Or when are you going to start a dating app? Or like, like just stuff in general. And I'm like, okay, I think this is a thing. Wow. And then when he announced it on the show, I was like, oh my goodness.
Pressure's on.
It was. I literally had people messaging me and they're like, okay, can I get on the list? And I'm like, well, there's a list? They realized there was a list now. So I had to start a list. I do have a list now.
So you're going to do this?
Yes, we are.
There
and I
you
say
go.
we because I kind of riled Melissa into this too.
More to talk about. Okay.
As well as a couple of other girls. And then Helm too. I want to get him in the mix of things.
Yeah, buddy. Me? Well, you are single.
What?
You said you needed more horsepower in your love life.
I want to know more about the speed thing, because I wasn't on that show. So yeah, and
it's your fault.
No, I mean, I'd like to know more about how that's going to happen.
Yeah, I've been researching it a little bit because I don't know anything about it, other than like stuff that I've seen on TV shows.
Yeah.
I think the last one I saw was like the show Dating on the Spectrum. I love that show, actually. But
that might work out for you, actually.
They did a speed dating show, I think. So I saw that, and so I have these ideas about how we're going to do this, but it's tricky.
Cool.
So the spectrum for this one would be it would be cars. Right, so you got there's got to be some qualifications.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they're all single people,
well,
right? Not married people.
We're working on that.
We're working on that, but we have decided that it's not just going to be car people for the dating thing. It's going to be, because I have had some car guys who are like, I don't want to date a car girl, but I'll date somebody else. So maybe you can just have other people on. And I'm like, yeah, I think what we'll do is maybe do like a car meet / car show in the parking lot of like a brewery, and then because I have a lot of friends who are already married and are dating, so they want to be a part of it but not necessarily a part of it. So we'll do like the car show thing in the parking lot, and then go inside maybe a brewery somewhere and sit down and do the speed dating thing inside.
Do any of the girls, the car girls, not want to date car guys?
Yes.
They don't want to.
Yes.
Dan, I think you should go.
Melissa jumps in real fast.
Dan is our quote unquote non-car guy, and he's single, so you qualify, Dan.
Yeah. There you go.
I don't know about the whole non-car guy thing, by the way.
I don't know.
Because you seem to know quite a bit.
Yeah. Well, when I say I'm not a car guy, what I really mean is I drive a 2017 Corolla.
You guys all have cool cars. You've got, Subarus and
But
S14s.
deep down,
Yeah.
you're a car guy.
Well,
yeah.
I used to be a car guy. I've had BMWs. I had an RX-7. I've had,
There you
I had
go.
Trucks
See?
too.
a
But
Okay,
non-car guy
let
that
me-
owned an RX-7.
Yeah, there
Hold
you
on.
go.
Yeah, right.
So let
man.
me qualify that. There's a huge qualification here. Like, I want a guy who knows cars. I want a guy who can work on cars. I don't want a guy that I'm going to run into every 17 seconds.
So Helm, you're out.
It can't be somebody that is going to be every 17. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And when you say
Especially-
run into, you don't mean fender bender, right?
No.
Okay.
No, well,
All right.
it definitely can't be one of those guys. If you can't drive,
All right.
Helm, you're definitely out.
that's definitely not going to work.
Okay.
Well, I'm excited because if you end up on like having your own national show at some point,
Yeah.
it started right here in West of
Oh
Tulsa.
my
I
goodness.
know, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Well, we are going to start up our own Instagram page
Oh,
for it.
nice.
So it's getting legit.
Yeah.
It is.
But and then you said you're going to start up your podcast again, right?
Yes,
You're in the works for that,
I
right?
am. I'm super excited about that. I've had a lot of girls reach out to me who are like, "Can you interview me? I want to be on your podcast." And it's really kind of jump started me back into like, okay, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah,
so,
That's awesome.
That's fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and we're totally supportive of that. So anything we can do to help you out with that.
That's
'cause
awesome.
We would,
If you need any background items, you can borrow some of these.
Yeah.
We have a whole shitload of car stuff around here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any pillows. I got the pillows at the shop.
if you need to borrow Helm, you can have him. So if you need some background,
Are you
know.
going to be our emotional support?
Yeah, I
Helm?
know. They can hug you instead of a pillow.
That's right.
Helm's uncomfortable.
He's speechless.
I'm blushing.
He's
I'm blushing.
speechless.
Yeah.
Helm is rarely speechless.
I know, right?
Wow.
I was talking
All right,
nonstop.
okay. So back to the dating app. So
Yes.
you're in the works and you're
Yeah.
trying to sort out the details with that.
Yes.
How does that? Have you thought about like how it'll work with like age and how
Yeah.
people get linked up or?
So that's the tricky part because I have a lot of friends who date younger or date older. And so on this list, I have to get people's preference and figure out, okay, do I have two groups at different times maybe for different ages? Because some of the car guys that have hit me up, they're probably in their late 20s. And then I have some people in their 50s. So, it just depends. But sometimes people in their 50s like to date people in their 20s. So it's tricky. We'll have
Sure.
to figure it out. But yeah.
Do you think you can find somebody for Helm? Do you think you have somebody?
Yeah. Especially if Helm is going to like help us with behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably have access to the list before everybody else.
Wow.
You can get the pick, dude.
So much pressure.
I know.
Nah,
it
nah,
So
is.
much pressure on the.
No, some girl's gonna pick you, man. Some girl's
Yeah.
gonna pick you. Just don't run.
You got a new job there, Helen.
I know, right?
All right. Well, okay. That in speed dating or?
Yeah, we've embarrassed Helm enough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So let's turn things over to Melissa Way and CarmaCare. So this is I was reading up on this and I love what you're doing because, again, we've had so many discussions about how people should know the basics, and that's what you teach.
Yeah. So I focus on women and teens right now, which I am absolutely willing to teach anybody. I actually just recently taught the Boy Scouts. So, but I focus on car care, car maintenance, and emergency preparedness in your vehicle. And we go over everything from emergency lights to fluids to changing your tire, inflating your tire, ways to talk to your mechanic.
Well, that's a good one.
That's-
That's a really good
key,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it include sound effects? Like it's making the sound? Is that what you're trying to avoid? Yeah, so you can actually speak a language? Okay.
Exactly. And then we also go over things that if you forget everything that I teach in the class, there's another way. So that's another tip and trick that I teach. And so these are all things that if you don't learn it when you're young, you can learn it when you're older. And it's an empowerment issue. And I teach it all in a 2.5-hour class. It might be extended to 3 hours because there's a few more tips and tricks that I want to include.
And it's so important. All that information is so important.
for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it can save you. You end up on the side of the road. take care of it yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't have
going,
to wait for AAA. or
going back
whatever.
to the how to talk to your mechanic.
I like that.
Not to be sexist, but is there a different way for a woman to talk to a mechanic and a man?
There is.
Oh yeah,
We want to hear this
There
one.
is.
I want to know what that is.
So, some of the things we talk about are asking your mechanic for, like a digital printout of everything that they do on your car. They can do that with like digital pictures now, things like that. Asking them for the diagnosis ahead of time, but knowing it can change. Going in and researching things that make the polling that you're experiencing ahead of time, asking for those things ahead of time. Also asking for your repair part. So asking for the part that they replaced, getting that.
Getting that back in a box.
Yeah. I heard a story from a girl that was just heartbreaking where she was supposed to get a part replaced and they never replaced it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, those kinds of stories are just, they're really sad.
Yeah.
Because I think the tides are changing, but women are taken advantage of in this industry. And in every aspect of this industry, not just going into a mechanic, but even women who do know what they're talking about can be chastised and can be, just because this isn't where we're normally seen. And so for me, it's an absolute pleasure to provide women with the education and the knowledge and the tools that we need to just go in there more empowered. You're not going to know everything after my class, but you're going to have a lot more resources.
And some confidence, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And
too.
some confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got two daughters. One's 26, one's 24. And anything that deals with their car, they call me up, go with me. Can you go with me? Can you make the phone call? And it's part of what you're referring to. You're just a lack of confidence, not understanding what they should ask for, not feeling confident in themselves to say the right thing or ask the right question.
Right. And if somebody wants to rip you off, they're going to rip you off. I mean,
happens to guys
happen.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happens to men.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me when I was younger. But it's just that feeling of I'm safer on the road. I can get my babies out of the car if there's something that happens to us, if there's a fire, if we end up in water somehow. I teach tempered glass versus laminate glass and where you hit that to get out of your car.
That's good.
There's some really cool secrets. When the ground is canted, when they pave the streets, there's certain pavement that you can search for to see where the water is landing when you're in rain. And you don't want to drive in the far left lane.
Yeah.
You're more likely to hydroplane. These are secrets that aren't secrets, but people don't know them.
Yeah.
That's one that I haven't taught in class yet, but I'm going to introduce, which is why my class is going to have to start to get longer. That's a new tip from CarmaCare introduced
There you go.
There's the
on
plug.
this
Let's
podcast.
go, yeah.
So there you go. But these are just some things that people don't know because it's not introduced in schools anymore. It's not introduced in anything. And these are just secrets that people need to know to keep safe.
Yeah.
We get a lot of rain in California. We don't have a lot of drainage. These aren't things I would have taught in Denver when I started this company because that wasn't the stuff that we were focused on. We were focused on snow and ice and how to stay free,
Real weather.
how to keep from how to keep from freezing in between, your trip from Denver to Aspen. And so, but here there's different issues. And so now I'm focused on, what kind of tires, now I'm getting into what kind of tires should I be recommending to these women because we do get rain. So don't get summer tires for everything because those aren't going to help you. And so some of this stuff is some of the stuff I'm starting to dive a little deeper in and start to maybe create some new classes for
How'd
people.
you come up with the idea for this? To say what the world needs this.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with that?
I came up with this idea in like 2016 in Denver, Colorado. I started, I got really sick. I had back surgeries and I got staph infection from the hospital in my spinal cord, and it took out my ability to walk. I lost
Scary.
all of the feeling in my left leg. Took out all my ability to walk, and I had to do a lot of rehab, and I made it my job. I decided I didn't want to be a social worker anymore. That was my big. I died on the operating table, and I decided I didn't want to be a social worker anymore. And I made my job going to the track every weekend for autocross. I looked up what my car could do because I started doing rehab for my left leg on my clutch. I just go out and sit in my car and push on my clutch and push on my clutch and push on my clutch. And so I looked up what my little WRX could do, and it could do autocross. And I was like, well, this isn't super expensive. Okay, well, it's a little more expensive than I thought. Whatever. Tires, turns out, are a little pricey. Yeah. And so I started doing that, and I started to learn more about my car. And I've always been a driver, but I've never been a driver. I've always been I can fucking drive, but I've never been I can fucking drive.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, this is what I've always wanted to do. I wanted to be a Formula One driver when I was little. My dad just didn't tell me that takes a lot of money, money I didn't have.
Yeah.
And so I just made that my job. And then I started finding out about stuff, and I was like, I didn't have somebody who taught me as much about my car. My grandpa was a wrencher, but my dad wasn't. He was a driver, and he taught me how to drive. And I needed to learn some of those basics, and he was really, really busy. So he didn't teach me some of those basics. I learned a lot of that stuff on my own. And then I realized a lot of people don't know that stuff.
And they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can teach them that stuff. It's not hard to learn, but women are scared, because I was scared. I was out there on that track learning this stuff on the fly. I learned how to put the fender liner back under my car with zip ties in the parking lot of the Pepsi Center, back when it was the Pepsi Center. Because it came out one day while I was driving to a hockey game, and it fell down because I had hit it with a cone earlier in the day. Yeah, so I was learning stuff on the fly all the time, and I thought, this is something I need to get done. I need to learn this stuff. I need to learn it solid, and I learn better from a person. I don't learn as well on the internet or YouTube University. I thank the Lords for the University of YouTube. I do, but I learn from people.
Yeah.
And if I can make those relationships with women and teens and get them all, stoked up and confident, I'm willing to do that. Right now I'm doing those classes for free. They're subsidized by my social work. But yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Wow, that's exciting. And you do more than just that. Because I was looking at your website. You actually get people out there, and just besides maintenance, you get them on the track.
Yeah. Well, so what we do, so we have 3 levels right now. We have the prep. We have CarmaCare 101, which is basic car care, and then we're putting together a prep to track and a prep to drift.
Okay.
And so those are classes that we are teaming up with different groups. We just talked to Grid Life, and was it Grid Life?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Grid Life. I just need to make sure I have my names right. And they are helping us put together some classes, because they're giving us space for free, which is the most amazing thing in the whole world. So thank you. Free space is such a blessing in this arena right now, and having lifts and things like that. But we're getting people put together to give girls presentations on how to prep your car, what tools do you need to have to go to the track, where does your head need to be, what are you looking for as the track day continues, what do you need to change on your car as the track day continues, your tires change. the conditions of the track change, how is that going to change your performance? You're not competing against anyone. You're competing against yourself. And you're learning. Don't forget you're learning. This isn't to compete. This is to learn
And just have fun.
and to have a good time.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of this is sounding familiar, so I'm guessing you two kind of connected over this, or you were. Did you guys know each other before, and then you guys have joined forces? How's all that coming together?
Yeah. So she and I have been friends for a couple years now, and then she has the track days, and my hope was to prep the girls for the track days, because she hosts them, and she does such an incredible job hosting track days. And she's my my track wife, basically.
Track wife, all
She's my
right.
car wife. I have a lot of car friends that are women, but she's been so instrumental to me getting this started in California, because I came from Denver, so yeah.
And I had her on the podcast, my podcast. So
Oh.
that's kind of like where we originally first kind of like formed our bond, I think, was on my podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Because you had mentioned back when you were on the show, Christina, that a lot of these women who might be intimidated, for, obvious reasons about being on the track and having an unfamiliar arena, but also being a woman in a male-dominated thing. So you're obviously finding a lot of that with the students that you're teaching. So there's a lot of similarities with, they kind of go hand in hand, I guess, not just the track, but also just car maintenance and car knowledge in general, right?
Right, absolutely.
So when you teach them, do you see that change in them right away where they don't have that insecurity as much, or do you feel like it's kind of lingering, or?
I think that they don't have that insecurity as much, and they also feel so much more open to asking questions and seeking out more information, because not only do I provide them with the information up front, offhand, but also I let them call me again. Like, they have access to me. And so if they have more questions, they can call me. But also, I provide them with tons of resources. This is how you find out more. Now you know about a tire, and now you know about filling up your tire. I give them hands-on, tons of hands-on. So they get to break their lugs with a breaker bar. They torque them.
That was pretty funny because they were bouncing on that breaker bar.
They were bouncing
trying
on
to
that
take
breaker
my
bar.
tire off my car. But it was legit. That's the stuff they have to get used to.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they're little tiny girls trying to bounce. They were like, it's not moving. Put yourself into it. You got it. You got it.
And then, but they find out tools that they need. So they learn about tools too, which is amazing. But they get involved, and I think it also sparks kind of a curiosity in them to say, okay, this is what I know. Is there anything else I need to know? And now I know I can move a tire. I can put a new tire on. Is there anything else I want to know about tires? And I give them, the best websites that I have available that explain these things to them, because the honest truth is I do have my master's degree in social work, and I have looked up the range of learning time that you have their attention. You're not going to have their attention for 6 hours. They get worn out and they're done. So I try to keep my class between 2.5 and 3 hours. 3 hours is the max that you're going to get them really before they're full. They're full.
Yeah.
They're not going to get any more in there.
The sponge has been
Yeah,
filled.
exactly.
But your classes are hands-on. Like, they'll be doing things, not just sitting there in a classroom taking
That's
notes.
true.
They're actually physically doing things,
They
right?
are physically doing
I think
things.
that's a huge thing because,
Yeah.
like you
Oh,
said,
yeah.
learning on YouTube is one thing, but getting your hands on the parts and doing the
She
things.
even had on the table vials of all the fluids, so they could see what the fluids look like.
The
Well,
color,
Look
the
at
color.
them. Yeah, and she explained them
That's
and
cool.
how to check them. And hands-on stuff like that is really important. As I've found, especially for women, they're very touchy-feely, like talking, and they loved that. That was one of the things that they mentioned.
Yeah, tactile.
Melissa, are you seeing any kind of conversion rate where women come in, maybe they're a little timid and they take your class and they get into it, maybe they follow up with you a little bit, and pretty soon they're turning into Melissas and Christinas where they're car women? Are you seeing that?
A little bit. I had a couple. There's one woman who wants to take the class on Saturday, but she's going to the Grand Prix. And it's her first Grand Prix, and she's really excited. And so she's like, can I please take the following class? So she already signed up for the following class, but she's like, I really want to go to the Grand Prix. And I was like, girl, I understand. I'm going to the Grand Prix on Friday, so I get it. And so I signed her up for the following class. So yeah, I get it. Yeah. So we have some of that happening where people are really excited about it. Or another interesting trend, actually, it's more, I have car girls signing up for the class where they were like, there's some stuff I just don't know. And I want to learn that stuff. And I also have some stuff that car girls don't know and car guys don't know. And it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. 511. Guys don't know 511.
So I didn't know that either. I watched your last class when you had it at my shop.
Yeah.
And I learned a few things I did not know about 511. That was
Yeah, 511 is the number that you call if you need roadside assistance on any California highway. You can get a gallon of gas. They'll help you change it. That was the secret that I said earlier. If y'all were listening, hey, this is a reason to keep the podcast going. I might throw in some callbacks.
Another secret.
Keep dangling that carrot.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll throw in some callbacks. 511, if you need gas or your tire changed or a tow to a location. Oh, I keep hitting this. I'm so sorry.
You're taking my lead.
Okay. A location, a tow to a location. They will do that for free.
I'm canceling my AAA
Yeah.
after the show.
Yeah.
Actually, Helm could have used that yesterday or the day before.
The other day.
Yeah,
I could have used that because my alternator went out and I had to call my AAA.
You have to be on a California highway.
Oh, highway.
It is a highway thing.
Oh, okay.
Ventura Boulevard's
So
not a highway.
it's
Right.
not a highway.
Hey, it's part
so
of
do
66.
keep your AAA.
And one thing, you can't be picky on gas because they probably only have one particular
87.
gas.
Oh,
87.
Helm, don't call them.
Yeah.
It's not Chevron.
I know, right?
Techron.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't run out of E85
Yeah,
while you're on the
exactly.
highway.
But that is great.
And they
to
only give
know.
you 1 gallon for real.
Oh, okay.
For real.
To get to the next exit. Or
Yeah.
To get to
something.
the,
Right.
yeah. Because I had a friend tell me last weekend that he ran out of gas twice and had to call back.
Oh my gosh.
Because
In
they
the same day?
didn't get enough gas, right?
Yeah, because they gave him a gallon, and then he had to call him again to get another gallon to get to the gas station.
Oh my gosh.
So they really do give you a gallon.
Oh man.
Yeah, for real.
Okay.
So, but that's 511, and so when you're in a crunch on a highway, use 511.
And those are the signs that they are on the side of the
They
freeway.
are on the
You
side
just
of the
You
freeway.
never
pass
pay
by them.
attention.
You just
But
yeah.
they're like the speed limit signs for me. I'm just saying. They're invisible sometimes.
Do you feel like it's kind of like the thing where like a man won't ask for directions but a woman will? Do you feel like that kind of like stereotype is actually not a stereotype? It's actually kind of true that a lot, because I know plenty of guys, I'm sure you do too, Christina, that think they know everything about cars and they don't. They know enough to be dangerous, but they won't actually do the work or can't do the actual work. Do you find a lot of that kind of like, I don't know if it's machismo or some kind of like ego thing that I want to make it look like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't? Because I feel like there's guys that should take that class too that just don't know the basics about cars.
What's funny is most of the guys that I've talked to about this class, who I've told some of the secrets to, they've all actually been pretty open. They're like, "Yeah, I should take your class."
Yeah.
I
What
think
do they?
I think they just want to meet other women, probably.
Probably.
That's the first thing I was thinking.
I'm not gonna have a mixed class. If I have a guys class, I'm gonna have an all guys class. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably better that way.
Yeah.
I want the women to have the women's experience. That's what I provide for them. So I will have a guys class, and I'm happy to have one. I have a hair on my lip.
Well,
But I'm happy to have one, but it's going to be for guys.
if you had a mixed class, then you'd be competing with speed dating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you
Exactly.
can't do that.
And I don't need any hanky-panky going on in the back of the classroom.
Yeah.
It's
Well, also, do
distracting.
you think like the women might be intimidated because there's guys in the class to actually ask a
Yeah.
question?
Yes.
Because you mentioned that
Absolutely.
before.
Yeah.
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 I don't know what
And
it is too when women are all together. For some reason, it's just this camaraderie thing. It's very like, oh, she asked a question. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask a question. It's like very like everybody just kind of amps each other up. That's
They
what
do.
I
That's
noticed.
cool.
Yeah. They really do.
I think it'd be fun if you took that class, Helms, to just get some knowledge of basic car stuff, because he was asking about his alternator. Why he made a comment the other day is about why can't they just seal the alternator? I was like, well, it's a moving part. You can't just seal it from because his mechanic was saying that because the heavy rains and the water getting there ruined the alternator. But that was the original alternator that you.
And that was a great takeaway was that I thought I'd replaced it a while back, but it was original alternator. So 30 years on my classic. I'm like, we're good. We need to get a new one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad at that, but
No.
but also to add to that is your recommendation with the e-brake. How I implemented that to where
Okay.
no, explain them. Like,
I had told Helm, he let me drive his car one day. Oddly enough, I surprised. Of course, I couldn't adjust the seat or anything, so I'm driving like
because I measure.
Right,
That was the other thing I was going to talk about was ergonomics in your vehicle.
which is huge.
That's
it's
huge.
huge.
That is huge. Which
That's the
I
other
learned-
reason I want to expand it to 3 hours is I do want to talk about ergonomics in your
that's
vehicle
the
because
key.
it can be dangerous. If you're too close to the steering wheel, you're going to get whacked by your airbag.
Yeah.
And it can be really
Yes.
harmful.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
that's
need to
huge.
be an arm's length away from your steering wheel.
Yeah,
And
don't kiss the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
exactly.
I saw my Lyft driver do it this morning. I got my windshield replaced. I left my thing and the Uber driver was driving like this, and I was like,
I see a lot of people, especially
Anyway.
older
Ooh,
people.
that's
that way.
dangerous.
keep talking about the Miata. Go for it. Sorry.
Well, no, he was.
digress.
I was driving his car. It's a older Mercedes,
Oh,
and
Mercedes.
I parked it and I put the e-brake on and then put it in park, and he goes, "What'd you do that for?" I was like, "Well, because so you don't have to be resting on the trans." And he's like, "What?" And now and Helm. Sorry, I don't mean to.
I'm OCD.
Oh, thank you. You're out.
Literally, it's like
So now he's
part of
like the e-brake
I was
Nazi.
I've been
Yeah.
So-
I've been putting all that strain on my transmission.
Well,
Yeah.
So it's 30 years old. I need to kind of dial back. So every time it's like boom, I have a whole.
Good thing you don't drive a manual.
I have a whole routine.
Right.
And so now it's like boom. I put
So-
that.
You can call it a ritual.
Before this,
Yeah,
though,
exactly.
Before this, though, so you'd park and then you'd wait for it to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'd
exactly.
feel
Really?
it kind of.
And now I feel
Yeah.
guilty
You
that I
waited
was
for
putting
it
that
to
strain
settle into
exactly
trans?
Because he doesn't know
Oh.
that what it's resting on. He thinks it's resting on the brake. I'm like, no, that's not the
No,
brake. That's the
that's
transmission,
resting on
buddy.
your transmission.
Yeah.
See, yeah. So
Yeah.
he definitely,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
and,
it helped.
and you're right. He learned because I told him directly, one-on-one. He could have YouTubed it. Not that he would have, but
yeah.
he
But
could
why?
have. But why? So I do
Yeah.
think that personal connection, that eye
Yeah.
contact, that
Right.
physical, that tactile thing is a huge, huge thing. Why
Yeah.
I'm like I said, I've done plenty of things to look up stuff on YouTube, but I learned from other people working on the
Yeah.
cars with me,
Right.
showing me how to do it.
And you trust those other people.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Sorry. You trust those other people. And that's the thing that's important is I try to build trust with my clients. I talk to them about what I've done. I've talked to them about the mistakes I've made and what I've learned and how I've learned it. Because it's important to make mistakes and that's how you do learn. And it's important to know who you're learning from.
Exactly.
Because people can tell you anything on the internet.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why YouTube University can be a real dangerous place.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm
Absolutely.
accountable for what I say. I'm not accountable for all the crazy shit you do with it afterwards. Like I'll tell you how to do stuff. You go doing all some crazy finagling shit. I'm not accountable for all that.
Yeah.
But you do sign a waiver saying that if you decide to do some crazy shit with all the information I give you, then that's on you.
Yeah.
But I am accountable for what I say. So when I tell you that you do not want to be right here with your steering wheel and a big old balloon hitting your face at 60 miles an hour, then don't do that
Yeah.
because that's dumb.
Yeah.
And so that's why I really like the in-person.
Yeah.
It's a real connection. And I've always liked in-person stuff. That's just the way I roll. I like to meet people. I've always liked my auditions in person. I'm real bent out of shape over all these taped auditions. They make me kind of grumpy. I like to connect with people. That's just the way I am.
What I see ironic about this is that when you talked about you being on the surgery table and you quit your job as a social worker, you're still doing social work. You're still being but you're being of service to the community still.
Yeah.
You see, so in that realm, it's kind of like translated into your career still in this new arena, but you're still being of service. And I think that's a great thing that you're providing for the community with the knowledge and the wisdom that you're sharing.
You're building karma.
Yeah.
Good karma.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the name of the company again?
It's called CarmaCare with
so,
a
okay.
C.
See, I try to subtly work that stuff in there, but
Yeah.
Nice
callback.
plug there, CJ.
Good call.
Mr. Marketing, CJ. Jeez.
You know,
I'm learning from you guys.
the question that you asked Dan. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. The question that you asked Dan, I feel like maybe that question should be asked to Christina, because when you get girls that come out to the track day, do they ever ask you afterwards, like, "Hey, how can I fix this myself, or how can I do something to my car to make it more reliable for the track or for whatever?" Almost like, and then you send them to Melissa's thing, because I feel like, you usually don't need to fix something until you break it, right? If you're not thinking correctly, but on the track, obviously you're going to break something a lot more easier, or have more having it happen more often. Do you think any of the girls that you experience out there might want to get into those kinds of classes?
Yes.
After that?
And what's actually funny about that is I've had numerous girls who are getting ready to go to a track day with me, and they'll ask me, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to like prep? Like what should I bring? What should I look for? And so I have the habit of like, I break it all down for them, but now it's kind of nice because it's like, well, we're going to do this class. So we're trying to set it up where, like, if she knows I have a track day, she's going to do a class like the day before or the weekend before or whatever. And so that's been kind of nice because that helps a lot with prep. But also, too, what's funny is after track days, because 95% of the time people love track days so much they want to do it again, they will start to really beef things up, and they will start to do a lot more to their car. And then I can kind of connect them to the right people, like sometimes if I have a sponsor I'm working with or something, they'll ask questions and be like, what do I need to do? How do I do this? And it's kind of nice because there's always this progression that I see with the women out on track days. But yeah, they always start somewhere. They need some sort of prep, and it's great that now Melissa can help with that. So
that's super cool.
One of the things too I have to say about her class that I thought was really cool, and I don't know if I told you this, but her first class she did at my shop, and I partaked a little bit kind of in the background. One of the things I really loved was that she has the girls get their owner's manuals out and sit down and like go through the owner, like they really familiarize themselves with the owner's manual, and not a lot of people even touch their owner's manual
Or know that they even have one.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool because they're sitting at the table and they're like going through, and they're
That's
like,
cool.
They're like, oh. So that was really
So they
really
they
cool.
can find the information on their own if they need to. It's
Yes,
all right there in the glove box.
absolutely.
Exactly.
It is. It really is.
I think that's the
People don't
biggest
realize
surprise.
that.
Yeah, the biggest surprise people notice that this information on maintaining your car is in the actual manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty interesting that people don't know that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I still look at mine all the time. Sometimes it's for, just sometimes air pressure.
Right.
It's like, okay, how much? What's the air pressure on this tire?
Yeah.
And so you'd think you'd know it, and
Yeah.
but if it isn't, you need to double check.
Yeah.
Check the.
That's actually on my
Is
my
that one?
Instagram.
Yeah.
I show all the places that you can find air pressure in your
The
car.
door
Yeah,
jams,
it's a
the
lot.
door
It's
jams, the
surprising.
gas tank,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
lid, the cover for the gas tank.
Yeah.
They're
Or
posted
like when
there.
you need to get new bulbs for your lights, I look at my owner's manual. Okay, which ones do I need? I go over to O'Reilly's and get my bulbs. So yeah.
I remember growing up, hanging out with a bunch of street racers and stuff. And I remember talking to the older guy about, I asked a question that I thought was pretty simple, but I got the whole like, you fucking pansy. You don't know what the hell you talk. You know, I mean, as a young guy, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, I totally knew what you're saying. You know, and then from that point on, I had to act the part.
Yeah.
And I became what I was called a brokanic, like where I was like I thought I could fix stuff, but I just broke stuff because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, until I got around people that were like, no, this is how you do it, dude. Because I would ask the questions, and I feel like this is not just for women. I know women deal with it, and they have to deal with a lot of other things that men don't have to deal with. But men have to deal with this stuff. I think there's a lot of guys out there that want to learn, and I gotta applaud the guys that like, you know, are afraid to go to shops to get ripped off or whatever, and then they try to learn it on their own. Of course, you know, breaking a lot of eggs, you know, to make that omelet. But I feel like it's important for people to be asking questions. I think that's the thing that is really, really cool. And maybe coming from a woman, maybe it's easier to ask you a question. I'm not trying to be sexist, but you know, sometimes as guys have a problem asking other guys questions.
Yeah.
You know, so at least I thought so. So
yeah. I've had I worked with the Boy Scouts for a little while, and I'll be working with them again. And the young men there did great. They all participated. They all asked questions, and it was a great workshop that we did with them. And so I look forward to working with them again.
Do they earn a CarmaCare badge?
I should make that. I'm
sad.
actually working with the Girl Scouts. To get one of their car badges. The Girl Scouts
It's not a bad
will
idea.
earn a car badge through me.
Dan, you worked with the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts before, right?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, Melissa. I was a shotgun instructor up at Camp Three Falls, which is Lockwood Valley, which is they actually just shut it down, unfortunately. But when my son was in Scouts, I was a shotgun instructor, and I've taught probably, I don't know, 1,000, 1,500 kids how to hit a clay with a shotgun.
Okay.
And I was going to say, at the end of the day, usually the boys would be dragged off to do, you know, awards and stuff like that, and the parents would be around. And I got to say, it was a really interesting experience instructing women how to shoot who had never touched a gun versus guys. And it was exactly what Gabe was alluding to. It's like guys have this thing of like, yeah, I know. It's like, do you know the 4 basic rules of gun safety? Yeah, I know. And then they're not doing it. And women, I would teach them. And I love instructing women over men because women listen.
Yeah.
They just listen and they'll do what you tell them. And it may or may not work, but at least they listen and they try.
Yeah.
And it's very gratifying. You know, when a woman's like, I've never even touched a gun, and 10 minutes later she's busting a clay. It's like, I love that as an instructor, and they love it too. So I just wondered, did you ever experience that where women are kind of timid and then pretty soon they're just like, they're nailing it. And it's like, they listen. Wow.
Best example I have is that we take apart the car and we put the car back together. And I've had my car taken apart by women, and I've had my car taken apart by men and put back together, so to speak. And my car wasn't really drivable after it was put back together by men.
Wow.
Oh, man.
And it definitely was when it was put back together by
There are
women.
going to be some arguments in the comments for this one. Arguments coming. I feel it.
Missing bolts.
But here's it wasn't anything except for the boys versus the girls. They just kind of were like, yeah, we're tired of inflating. We don't really want to get it up to specs, so we're done now. Whereas the women
15
were
pounds.
yeah, no joke. Seriously, I'm not joking. The women were told to deflate it down 6 pounds and reflate it 6 pounds, because I knew exactly what my tires were at before. The boys were told the exact same thing. Now there's a slight difference in age too, so let's recognize that. Not a huge difference in age. We're talking like maybe, but it's significant because these were 17 and 18, and we're talking probably the age range on the other group I did was 19 and 20.
Okay. So pretty close. Yeah.
Pretty close.
Big difference, huh? Well,
I had to retorque all of my bolts.
Oh, man.
Well,
I'm sorry, all my lugs. I retorqued all the lugs, and then I had to fill all of my tires, reinflate them all.
It's interesting now because girls are in Boy Scouts now, as we all know,
What?
or as you may not know. Yeah. Boy Scouts was opened
shouldn't
up
they
to
be
girls.
Shouldn't they be in Girl Scouts?
No, a lot of girls want to go in Boy Scouts because they say Girl Scouts does, cookie baking. And
they do
bake
cooler shit in the
sales.
Boy Scouts.
Exactly. And I've experienced that because my son made Eagle, so he was in it for the long haul and so on. And we went to a place called Philmont Scout Ranch, which is in New Mexico, 300,000 acre scout ranch that's in New Mexico. It's a working cattle ranch. And I got to meet lots of girls there that were, 17, 18, and they're out riding. They had different kinds of scouts. They had like horse scouts, cavalry scouts, and it was really interesting to see. At first, I was kind of against it, and now it's kind of like, no, I get it, man. A lot of girls do want to go out and do the cool shit that the guys get to do. And not that Girl Scouts is bad. It's just it's a different vibe. It's just a whole different thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I do think it's been overall a good thing.
So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it was I'm not slamming on the boys. They just didn't really want to finish doing what we were doing when we were doing it. They were kind of like, okay, we're done.
They could have done it.
Like,
they could have done it. They just did.
Absolutely. They're absolutely capable.
They just weren't motivated.
Absolutely
Yeah.
capable.
They weren't motivated to finish the job.
Right.
Kind of like a lot of mechanics that we've experienced. I mean, I've had plenty of mechanics that didn't do, and not just that, just fabricators and engine builders. And, when it comes to the aftermarket, as you know, Christina, the pickings get a lot slimmer,
Yeah.
So I find that out a lot too. How to talk to a fabricator or an engine builder who does.
I think maybe I might have just recognized some of the difference. Boys get this opportunity all the time to do this kind of stuff. They get this opportunity all the time to be around cars, to mess with cars, to tinker with them. Women don't get this opportunity as often to mess with them, to tinker with them, to do this in a non-judgmental environment. And so those women were just railing to go. They were like, let's do this. I want to do this. Let's get it done. And they did finish the job. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. What do we get to do next? And so I think that might be kind of the difference in the genders when it comes to like participating in my program. Is just, guys are like, yeah, it's a car.
I've got a question for you, Melissa.
Yeah.
I've got a daughter. She's in her late 20s. She's great.
Yeah.
Unlike CJ's daughters, she's never been interested in, like, I showed her all that stuff. I showed her how to change a tire, how to change the oil, back when we were all changing our own oil and all that. And, I always joke with her. I'm like, so your idea of car maintenance is when it explodes, then you do something about it. So do you have any tips or tricks for those of us who have women in our lives who are like that, who are just like, you show them, they're just not interested, and it's just, oh, my car stopped working. Like, how do you get around that?
There's really not a way to get around that because the bottom line is if they want to do it, they're going to do it. And if they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
And there's things that I don't like in this world. Like, I just don't like sending a ton of emails to people. That's not my idea of a good time. And I really hate doing my webpage. Like, I really hate doing my webpage. So I get
Taxes.
I'm actually pretty good at those.
You like doing their taxes?
I don't specifically
Really, I'll send you mine. I'll send you mine.
You got another sideline for your business.
I know, right? But I would say when it comes to safety, safety is where I start to say, okay, this is something I gotta do. Like, we also don't like going to the doctor, but when it comes to you've got to attend to your shit, that is where I draw a line. And safety is where you've got to draw a line. And so when I say this is the way you get your children out of a freaking car when it's on fire, people start to perk up.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Makes
when I
sense.
say you need to know how to keep yourself safe in terms of you could have a perpetrator. This is where women and men differ. This is a matter of my personal safety because men perpetrate on not all men.
Be careful. Be careful.
Men can perpetrate on women who are weak. And women who cannot protect themselves in those situations, or at least pretend like they know what they're doing, can be perpetrated on. And I refuse to be perpetrated on in terms of putting myself in a position of weakness. in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself in positions of weakness all the fucking time.
Mhm.
I'm already in them all the time. So why put myself in another position of weakness, you know? So I try to put myself in positions of knowledge wherever I can. And that's where I try to phrase it for women. Listen, if this is a position where you can be in a position of knowledge, why not? I'm giving it to you for free.
Well, I loved your accountability thing, like the checklist and the parts and the digital photos and so on. It's like that is a great tip for
It is.
anyone.
Oh, yeah.
Because so many people take their car to the mechanic and they just take their word for it, or service center, at the profit center, as we all know, who've been in the car business. It's the
Right.
profit center.
Right.
And it's fine. And usually people are pretty good, but we've all been ripped off, right?
Right.
So I think that's great. That should be taught to everyone.
That makes me wonder, Christina, because you've been doing this for such a long time in the car game, not just as a car, but, racing, going to the track and all that stuff. And back when, you were doing it back at Battle of the Imports and all that, there was like what, less than a handful of female racers that were kind of like known doing this stuff. And it was like 99% male dominated.
Yeah.
Did you experience a lot of this stuff, especially in the aftermarket and the racing scene? What was it like for you kind of coming up at that time? Because and would you compare that to today? Like what the difference is?
It's way different today.
Yeah.
Way different. I mean, even just coming out of high school and already, drag racing and stuff like that, I learned everything from men. I didn't have a woman to help me or guide me. I looked up to certain people like Lisa Kubo. I'd sit and watch her wrench on her car, and that was inspiring enough to know that I could do it. But I didn't have a lot of help. I really just kind of put myself out there and just kind of learned and was taught by my ex. He showed me a lot of stuff about cars. So yeah, there was like nobody inspiring back then. Nowadays, it's just completely different. We had this program on Friday that Melissa and I went to at Formula Drift, where it was called Women of FD. And Z, who's a prospect drifter, she hosted this event where we had 30 women who got to spend the whole day behind the scenes and had all these amazing women in the industry give us speeches and tell us about racing, and even just people like Amanda Sorensen. She's huge in the industry. She gave a little speech, and
Shelby Craxton, who is the head of James Dean's
she's amazing.
Mechanics.
She's
team.
Talked about because his car had caught on fire earlier, 2 days prior to the race. So it was amazing. There's so much support now. It's such a difference than 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Just to have somebody stand up and be like, I'm going to bring all these women and I'm going to show them this and support them in this. And I was extremely grateful that I could be a part of it. But there was also a part of me that I kind of didn't want to take somebody else's space away from them, because I was so excited that there was this person willing to take all these women in and show them the behind the scenes. I mean, photographers too, and it was amazing.
Were you able to bring some of the younger women that to the event?
No, it was an invite.
Oh, okay.
We had to actually apply for it, so she picked certain people to be a part of it. So I met a ton of new car girls, or like I said, some were photographers or people who are just working in the industry, and or a lot of girls who had not even raced yet. They were just so excited about it and wanted to kind of get the feel for things before they started up. So that was pretty amazing. That was such a great day.
Yeah.
I am forever grateful to Z for putting that together.
Yeah. I mean, there's a handful of female drifters in that series, right? Or is there's a couple. She's not the only one, is there?
It's Amanda Sorensen, Zendara Kennedy, and
I don't know what Colette is in. I don't know what series she's in when she races. Colette Davis. She's big in the industry for drifting, but there was another girl. Morgan drifts, but she's not a pro spec driver.
I have her name on the tip of my tongue. Rollinson.
Well,
so
I mean,
bad with names.
We'll get it and we'll put a graphic up. And,
Yeah.
We'll get
we'll
it
just
right.
cut that in.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
I feel so bad because like
But there's a
I
lot
know
of-
her.
There's a lot of female mechanics back there behind the scenes working on the
That's
cars
cool.
with the guys, and then there's a lot of the wives there who are like spotters, and like
Oh, wow.
it was awesome to see. So I didn't really wrap my head around how much women really are involved
Yeah.
in everything.
Yeah.
So
And it's so encouraging for me as a, I have a young daughter, and if she gets interested in cars, I would love for her to at least know that she doesn't have to worry about being intimidated or judged. She can go learn and be these things, whether it, is a hobby or as a profession.
Yeah.
It's cool to just see that. And I really
Yeah.
do appreciate those types
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah,
So it's really cool
absolutely.
that
Yeah.
those things exist.
yeah, it was
you know.
pretty cool. We even had I forgot her name, but there was a couple women there. One was from Rockstar. She does like the PR
Jen.
marketing. Jen, yeah. She talked about kind of that side of the industry and how kind of like the best things to do to get your foot in the door.
Wow.
It was great. And everybody was so supportive and everybody was so excited. It was just such a good feeling
Mm-hmm.
to be a part of that. So yeah, definitely one of my like best memories. That was
Kelsey
amazing.
Rawlings.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah.
Kelsey Ron.
That's pretty cool.
Tag me later, Kelsey.
I don't mean to circle back to the dating thing, but I can't help but wonder. You said that you don't have to necessarily be, dating a car guy.
hmm
Do you find that if they would be safer to do that because if you would probably know more than most guys that you'd probably meet, like car wise, do you think that might be a little ego deflating for the guy? And obviously, you wouldn't want to be with a guy that's easily deflated, but do you think that? I'm not trying to be superficial, but do you think the car thing matters, especially for ladies like yourself that are dating?
It does. It matters a little. I do ask them what they drive. But here's the thing. I ask them what they drive, but I also ask them what they've driven. And I also ask them what they want to drive, because not all of us are in a place financially where we drive what we want to drive. Not all of us are in a place where we are driving what we've driven. You know what I mean? Because we've all driven things, but we're not necessarily driving them anymore. I actually have my 3-pack right now of my like happy cars. I'm sitting pretty, but I don't judge based on necessarily what you drive. But I can tell things about your personality based on what you
That's
drive.
right.
I have it all down.
What if he said that? I don't know. Cars are the enemy of the state, and no one should ever drive cars. And he takes the bus. Would that be a non-starter right there?
Ouch.
Yeah, that's a game
Ouch.
change. Like that. Yeah.
Well, because it's like, where do you draw the line? Because I truly do believe, like my wife, she's not into cars per se. She does like cars, and she likes driving, and she likes expensive, nice, fancy cars. But she has to understand that I have my thing, and if she can't accept that, then we can't do this.
Yeah.
So there has to be some kind of understanding when you're a car person. If you're cheating on car
Exactly.
people, who cares? We're not even talking about you.
Right.
But if you are a car person, I feel like there needs to be some. Like look at Beth.
Yeah.
Beth. I wouldn't call her a car person. She kind of is, and kind of.
She's becoming more and more of a car.
Yeah, she's not like Dan, where she's like a closet car person and
Yeah.
saying that she's not. But
Yeah.
but like you have to be some kind of understanding. So I would imagine dating, especially car women, which there's fewer of you than there are of car guys, right?
Yeah.
And you're trying to date somebody in a pool of car people. I would imagine that's got to be somewhat of a challenge. Maybe not a complete barrier, but it's got to be something you have to consider.
It is. Yeah, they do need to know about cars. The bigger thing than knowing about cars is they got to be able to drive. I can't deal with somebody who can't drive. Like that's a big deal.
I agree with that one.
So if he can drive, but not a
You can-
manual.
Deal
I
breaker.
mean,
See, all 3 of my cars are manuals.
Oh,
Yeah, all
I'm
my
a
cars are
stick shift
manuals
girl.
too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a stick
I only
shift
find
girl.
this in the younger generation that
That they
dudes
don't
don't know how to drive,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um,
See, I don't mind teaching if they're willing to be like, I want to drive your car. Will you teach me? I'd be like, yeah.
You're not
going to
learn on my Porsche.
I don't mind. Yeah, he won't be in my 240, but he'll be in my Subaru.
Okay, so there's if there's willingness to, learn, then see, I don't think Melissa, the face you're making,
I'm not a teacher. I'm not here to teach. I'm too old for that shit.
I don't mind
all right. So,
if they signed up for one of your classes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll teach you if you need to learn that. But I'm not teaching driver's ed. Like that shit's for the birds. You need to know that already. If you don't use your blinker, I'm out the door.
Oh, so no BMW drivers for you.
Yeah, right.
Whoa. Sorry. Hey, you guys know who you talk. You know who I'm talking about. All right. Well, hey, just so guys know, there's got to be. We all got to have some kind of standard, right? Exactly. So I don't want dudes hollering at you that can't drive no manual.
I think I would have a really hard time dating somebody that drives a Prius. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I said it.
Wait. What if
I just can't?
What if he has a Prius as a daily, but he has another
I'm
car?
Okay with it.
Even as a daily.
As a daily, I'm okay with it as long as he has some real.
He's obviously frugal.
I was going to say something really bad.
No.
Well, now you got to say it.
Say it, Melissa. Say it. We need to know.
I was going to say, if he's got a Prius as a daily, but he has like a real panty burner in the garage, I'm okay with it.
Ooh, what's a panty burner in your idea? Or your idea of one?
Okay.
Guys, take notes.
Lamborghini? Or?
No, not even. He doesn't have to be a hypercar. I personally have a thing for STIs, not the diseases, the actual the Subarus. Just so we're real clear on that.
I'm glad we went here at the hour mark. So if people haven't made it this far, they're missing out.
Just so that's the best car joke we've ever had on West of Tulsa. By far.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Wow.
So I like Subaru STIs. They're a passion of mine. And then I'm a Porsche girl, so I like flat engines, flat fours, flat sixes.
Okay.
I like those.
That's a theme.
Yeah.
I really like Audi R8s. I don't know why, but I have had a thing for those since I was young. I stopped a guy at a gas station one time when I saw him, and I was like, I don't know what you do, sir, but I'll marry you.
Oh, well, that brings me to my next question then. Thank you for the segue.
No problem. Anything I can do.
So would you consider, not saying that you would date, but would you consider dating a guy because of the car he drives without even knowing him?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, no way. That's a huge red flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's bitch has gone wrong there. That is not a good idea.
Got it.
That is no.
There's a lot of douchey guys with nice cars.
Yeah.
I'll be honest
plenty
with
of
you.
them.
I think if you're a true car girl, you would never do that. But I think the girls who are clout chasers or money chasers are the ones that are going to do
Gold
that.
diggers.
Yeah.
I've got my own fucking Porsche. I don't need some dude.
Yeah, exactly.
I got 3 cars.
Do you own a classic Porsche? Or
I own the 40th anniversary 996.
Oh,
Wow.
There you go.
Wait, so that technically is a classic.
That's a nice one.
Silver. Silver.
It turns 20 years today. Well, not today, but this year.
Yeah.
Today. It turns 20 years today.
Wow.
Is it silver?
It is. It's GT Carrera silver. Yeah.
So if the guy was hollering at you at a GT3, it's still not qualifications to what's up?
I mean, I don't know. What's he like?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Let's talk.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll talk, but no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Not
What
blind.
if the guy called 411, not 511?
He's not going to get his gallon of gas, that's for sure.
But he's
They'll transfer him is the funny part.
Oh, really?
Yes, they will. That was the funny story I heard. My friend had been calling 411 for years, and then they can transfer him to 511.
Oh, no.
Is that the guy that need the extra gallon?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
See? It's all linked.
Oh.
See?
He's going to laugh that he made it onto this podcast.
Well, we'll keep him anonymous.
Yeah, I was about to say, we won't ask his name, no.
That's hilarious.
You can tell me off camera. Just kidding.
That is
Too
cool.
funny.
So I don't need a boy for a car. I've got plenty of cars, and they produce plenty of problems.
Yeah.
So I don't need any more.
But if he wasn't into cars, you could work with
we
that.
better have we better have some like real stability in other areas of
Sure.
our relationship.
Sure. Okay.
If you know what I mean.
I
kind of
read what you're saying.
I kind of have a feeling the speed dating thing's already started.
Yeah. I know.
Well, I think
we're already underway.
Wait, so you guys are going to work together on the speed dating?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm going
Okay.
to be the hostess with the mostest.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
she's
Perfect.
going to be the girl behind the mic.
Helm, you're going to have such a good time.
Yeah.
Babe. You're going to have a great time. And I'm going to have a great time watching. I'll help. I don't want to be some weird guy just watching everybody speed dating like some weirdo. Hey, look at they're all dating.
Maybe we can do like a Cars and Coffee, and then when it's Cars and Coffee is over, go into Coffee Bean and do speed dating inside Coffee Bean.
So here's the thing.
And if you mention that, you get $2 off.
$2
$1
instead of
and then
one.
another.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah.
See?
But I don't know. I like
Now
the
you go sell it
idea
to
of alcohol in the mix somewhere. I don't know about just coffee.
Bailey's. Just bring some Bailey's.
Bailey's, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Helm. So no, with that dating
funny.
thing, the Cars and Coffee thing, right?
Yeah.
See, I think the meet is important because if you don't want to be there, you're definitely not going to like
Yeah.
when you go inside with this person.
Yeah.
Because you're there for the cars. So I think there needs to be some level of car interest. It starts off as a car meet.
Yes. Yeah.
But everybody that goes there, I mean, I know it'll be a challenge to kind of weed out the people who are just kind of taking advantage of the situation versus people that are really trying to participate. But I feel like that's one of those things where like it's got to start there. The Cars and Coffee thing idea, meet in the parking lot, car meet is a great idea. Because if that's all that is, that's okay too. Because it doesn't have to be about the booze, which I think is kind of interesting having a or car meet out of a place that serves alcohol. Because obviously you want to drive responsibly and drink responsibly, but you know,
What could you see one of those? So they finish, right? And nobody can drive home. So Uber shows up.
I know,
and all
right?
these cars are left in the parking lot.
Yeah. I know,
And I
right?
could see that.
Yeah.
And then the Uber guy's driving with his steering wheel
Yeah,
like
like this.
on his chest right here.
yeah, but you don't want to see two people.
Where you got to correct them. You
So they gotta do the walk of shame back to their cars.
Exactly.
Let's talk about ergonomics. We could just add a CarmaCare on the back of all of it.
yes.
It could be the 22-hour car meet.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see how you're gonna put that all
That's
together.
good.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me that the interest is growing for
It
that.
is definitely growing.
Which
so,
is, I think, really cool.
yeah.
I think that's very cool.
Yeah.
And this
You know.
show will help.
Yeah. Well,
Obviously.
thanks to your talk on the show, that's what really got it going because people were messaging me way more after that.
Well, when
So-
you said that you had, almost 8 people
Yeah, I had, like,
messaging
7
you,
people
and
hit
we were
me
just
up.
talking about it kind of
Yeah.
like
Haphazard.
in a larf.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
it was mostly just when people were hitting me up, it was more so like about dating car people. And then a couple people were asking me about the dating app because that was the Subaru dating app thing that we talked about back in the day.
Yeah.
And then there were a couple people out of those 7 people who were like, well, there was this event in San Diego that they just did or they're going to do. I don't remember who is hosting it, but they're like, you should do something like that out here. And that's how the speed dating thing kind of like came into play.
Wait a minute. Would their dating profile be a profile of the car too?
Ooh,
Yeah, so
like throttle.
we've been throwing around ideas of what we're gonna
That's
do. Like
cool.
we were like, do we take headshots and car shots and put them on the story and like do
That's
profile
cool.
features on the stories?
Because there be some girls, I would never date a rotary guy,
Yeah.
or something like that. You
Oh,
know,
So-
Rob Dom is dreaming.
Oh yeah.
he totally is.
Yeah, he is.
He's dreaming.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's-
real
Did you
quick-
hear that, Rob Dom?
Yeah.
Hey, quick note about Rob Dom. I saw him at 7 Stock last year.
Yeah.
And, usually he draws a crowd, but he parked way in the back because he was there to race his 3-rotor and get some rounds in. And I didn't even know he was there until I was walking the pits. And I'm like, holy crap. And he's hot lapping his car.
Yeah.
He's just hot lapping. And his car's worth $200-300. Who knows how much his car's worth. And I was like, you know what? You got some respect for me, buddy, because he was just there. He, of course, he was signing autographs because he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
But he wasn't there to do it. He was there to just run his car. And I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, dude. So I support him, because I didn't know him before. I just saw him on YouTube and stuff like that.
The first time I saw him was at 7 Stock when he came what was 2020 or 2019? When he came out with the car, when he first came out with
I think it was the 2019 one.
It was the 3-rotor, right? Or
yeah,
was it
it was a 3-rotor.
It was the 3-rotor. And I remember when he came out and everybody was like, oh my God. So everybody crowded around his car. So I got video footage of that, but yeah,
Oh,
he's
no.
much pretty in person.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me twice.
I like his car. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he seems like a really cool dude, but
I'll date a rotary boy if that's what it means.
I don't think most rotary guys look like him.
Well,
Yeah, good luck with
They're usually
that.
more poor.
damn.
So what do you drive?
Not a rotary right now because they don't work. Unfortunately.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Oh boy, it has been fun to have both of you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we knew this would be a lively show,
yes.
and I know we gave Gabe a shitload of material to post on social media.
Oh yeah. The reels are gonna be great.
It's gonna be Melissa, Gabe, Melissa.
Well, we'll definitely have to have you guys back on because I'm sure this will be like an ongoing series of the car dating thing because I know.
God.
And we need updates.
Yes.
We need updates.
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, just for us because we're
right?
curious.
Wait,
And-
were we going to do a car dating / bumper sticker show?
Oh, the
No.
bumper sticker.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the bumper
Yeah.
sticker?
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, we did talk
Those
about
might
that.
tie in pretty good, actually,
Yeah.
because of some
Yeah,
of the
that's
phrases and the,
cool.
yeah.
I
You mean
think
bumper stickers that you can actually put on the bumper, or the ones that go in the engine bay?
Oh, both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
PG,
stickers.
PG and rated R.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
all the car people want the radar. No one
Yeah,
wants the PG stuff or whatever. I'm very curious, and I'm also curious to see how Helm does. So
Wait, what?
don't worry about it, buddy.
Oh, yeah, we'll have updates.
You're
on it.
going to be there recovering the story for West of Tulsa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You and Christina, who's now
That's
our
gonna be fun.
honorary field reporter.
Yeah, right. And Helm can be our first male profile.
There you go.
Yeah.
You've got cars.
Yeah. He is a car guy.
There's some chick that likes wagons.
What?
Hey, I like what
Oh, well,
I
we're
like.
There you
wagons.
go.
See,
There
we're
you go.
wagons.
Yes, I
Wagons
like
all the way.
Yeah.
First match. Here we go. let us know how your date goes, guys.
All right. Yeah, maybe we could do a practice
I
ride.
know. As long as we can film it.
Oh gosh.
I'll be the chauffeur.
Hey.
See, I told you it started.
I know. See?
I knew it started.
Oh, too
All
funny.
right, Melissa, Christina, thank you so much.
Yes,
Have you
of
both
course.
back on again? It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Anytime.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna just plug my little CarmaCare.
Oh, yes,
event this
definitely do
weekend.
that, yes.
So this weekend from 11 to 1:30.
Now we should say,
Yes.
as you're saying this weekend, but this probably won't air for a couple weeks.
This won't for at least 2 more
So,
weeks. Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you have
Okay.
coming up,
Okay.
Melissa?
So coming
what's
up,
happening in a month?
What's happening in a month?
We're gonna do the one for before Kendall's event. The
Before
prep.
Kendall's event.
The drift prep.
Drift prep. April. When is that one? Oh, that's
Mother's
May.
Day is her event, so May 11th,
So May 11th.
the day before.
May 11th, we have a CarmaCare.
Yeah.
At AT 230, Cars and Coffee in La Habra.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
And if people want to reach you, what's the best way to reach you?
www.carmacarecalifornia.com.
With a C.
With a C. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
CarmaCare California with a C.
And on
C.
Instagram, how do they?
Same.
Okay.
CarmaCare California at CarmaCare California or at Melissa Way, and that's Melissa MELISSA WAHE.
Yes.
And I know you've done it before, but you go ahead and throw out your info. So people-
So we have our big drift event on April 28th. So that this may air, may not, but which is sold out. But I'm hoping people come and spectate and learn all about it. Super excited because it's Miss Motorhead's first co-host for a drift event. But there is a big event on Mother's Day for all women drifters. My friend Kendall is hosting it through Sparkle Motion Drift. And I know a ton of girls are coming. They're like bringing all of their moms.
Oh,
Or
that's cool.
I'm bringing my kids.
Oh,
I'm
that's
putting
cool.
them to work. They're going to work my booth. But I'm going to be out there drifting as well. So they get to actually see me in person for the first time. But I recommend if anybody's interested in going, any girls, they want to go check it out. You guys can come out and spectate. But
So May 11th at
it's Mother's Day, which I think is May 12th.
Oh, May 12th. Okay.
Yeah, it's
May
a Sunday,
12th
and it's at Apple Valley Speedway.
Okay.
And the website, or I'm sorry, not the website, the social media Instagram account is called Sparkle Motion Drift. Yes.
Cool name.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was Grid Partners, not Grid Life. Grid Partners is my new help.
Good
So
partners.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's really early in the day for me, even though it's not early in the day that we're recording this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and thank you guys.
Thank you.
For
Thank
having
you
us
guys
on.
so much.
It was nice to be on with you because I
Because
wasn't
the first
on
one,
it.
yeah.
Yes.
I
yeah.
wasn't on there, yeah.
Yeah.
And let us know about your podcast too when that gets
I will.
Yes.
Yes, I definitely will.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
promote the hell
excited.
out of it.
Thank you.
Heck
We'll make
yeah.
you more popular than us.
Thank you. Yeah.
She already is more popular than us.
Yeah, exactly. She knows everybody.
Yeah, she
Both,
does.
both of them are.
Yeah.
You know so many people.
That's awesome. I think it's
Yeah.
great that you're restarting that.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
All right. And hopefully we played some role in inspiring you.
You absolutely
Because you had
did.
so much fun
No,
while you were
you
here.
completely. You guys have done a lot. You have no idea. I've just been like so excited to like start all this stuff up, and I've been so busy doing things, and a lot of it is thanks to you guys. So
Good.
I
Awesome.
Appreciate
it.
it.
Love it.
Love
And
having you guys here.
And the next show, maybe we could elaborate more on what you do, which I only found out till later with like the printing. Because
Oh yes,
that's
not
my
just
way.
printing.
I
my day job.
I love stickers. I love
Yeah.
anything.
That's Helm's thing, man.
I'm from the print
All the
industry.
merch stuff. I wish I met
Yeah.
with Jeffrey yesterday. I did a bunch of stuff for Jeffrey yesterday. So
Jeffrey Willerth.
yeah,
Jeffrey Willard,
Yeah.
Z Club.
If
Oh,
you
that's
actually watched our
Z
show,
No,
Helm,
I know.
he was on our last show.
Yeah.
I know. I was
Yeah.
just.
Wow.
Are those some of the?
Yeah, way
he-
to change the subject, buddy.
I didn't do his stuff there, but we're working on some
Oh,
stuff for him,
nice.
like a
That's
booth,
awesome.
a booth setup. I'm gonna do.
You're talking
probably a
about the
booth
Z
setup.
stickers that we got here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working on a pop up for him,
Oh,
probably,
nice.
and like a tablecloth and things like
Oh,
that.
nice.
So,
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that the communities, just not just in Ventura, but just in general.
Totally.
Like, because we know
Support
guys that
each other.
down in LA, they're like, oh yeah, Christina, I'm like,
I
know.
what the heck?
Yeah, it's
So.
crazy.
I'm
cool.
in LA a lot. I like to go out there and support people out
Yeah.
that way because there's probably a majority of car stuff is. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there a lot.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So anybody who's been listening, they can tell I've tried to wrap this up 3
I
times.
know. I'm sorry.
But no, it's not your fault. I mean, it's a podcast.
It's
we
a
have,
good- it's
we
a
have
good-
no limits here. We could keep going and going and
It's
going
a
if you
good
want.
show. It's a good show.
Yeah,
The
it's a
ladies
great
have been
show.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Do you have to pee, CJ?
The only problem is no. Actually, if I go like this, you'll hear my stomach growling. So
It's
Oh,
lunchtime.
you're hungry.
Oh.
Oh, you're hungry. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Fact, if
Thank
listen-
you for being on,
you're
ladies.
listening
We really
closely.
enjoyed having
Yeah.
you on.
Thank you so
Great
much.
show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
been fun.
Awesome.
All right, so don't forget to follow us, like, and you can subscribe. We've got our YouTube.
Channel.
Thank you. That's his job now.
Yeah,
I'm
he
the
just says
channel guy.
YouTube channel. Yeah.
He's
and
the Ed McMahon. Of
I gotta find new ways.
Yeah.
I gotta find new ways to say channel.
Channel.
we also have our tip line page.
Yes.
We're going to promote it twice. We did it at the top and the bottom. So again, go to our website, westoftulsa.com, click on the tip line page, fill it out, send it in to us. You will end up in studio probably.
Yep.
Right? All right.
As long as
Thanks
you
for
take
watching.
a shower.
That's it. That doesn't even matter. I haven't washed this in 3 months.
Oh, well, there you go.
I gotta go.
There you go.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody, or listening. And depending on what you're listening on, we appreciate you tuning in and listening to our bullshit for about an hour and 15 minutes. All right. We'll see you west of Tulsa.